believe in capitalism, free enterprise. And Alan Grayson believes the exact opposite of what the founders of Reagan believed, the time-tested principles. I mean, it's a very secular, socialist, big government. He goes up there to Congress and you don't see any evidence of trying to be a creative problem solver. Printing money and borrowing money that we don't have, bankrupting the children, is not solving problems. And so I see Alan Grayson as a guy that goes up there, doesn't tell us how we're going to solve Medicare fraud, doesn't have an energy policy, doesn't have a policy that's going to, make sure that we have create wealth creating policies. I don't see anything constructive. I see him yelling at a bunch of people, trying to become the darling of the hard left, wants his 15 minutes of fame, and is helping destroy the nation. I think it's just been a complete disaster.
Well, it's funny because we talked to Alan and we had him on the show, and he was a very interesting guest, very learned guy. Supports healthcare for I think the right reasons. Supported high-speed rail for the right reasons. I think, how much of that do you think that when you get there as a Democrat, like you kind of have to buy into the mechanism that creates this stuff, creates the bureaucracy that comes with healthcare, creates, you know what I mean? Like your depiction of Grayson, it almost seems personal, and I don't think it is. I think, in other words, I think at a personal level, he wants healthcare to help people. He wants high-speed rail to help people. He wants these things to help people, but unfortunately, when they get up there, the way they do that, and Republicans are the same. I said about Homeland Security. The biggest government agency ever. What did we do right after 9/11? Well, the only thing we really did was spend a lot of money creating another agency. We had the FBI, we had the CIA, right? We had all these agencies that could do this job. We had to pull them together in a room. Somebody should have gotten fired for leaving the screen door open and letting them blow up the Pentagon, but they didn't. They just kept everybody, and then they added a giant government agency over it and employed all these new people. I'm like, guys, we're not fixing problems up there. I think that's what people really want. People want you guys to go up there and fix things.
Well, the only thing I say, it's not personal. I don't know what's in this man's heart and his mind. I do know that if you watch his speeches on the House floor, if anybody can tell me how that's helping solve problems, I'd be more than happy to listen. Or trying to sue your own constituents, or have Eric Holder throw Angie Langley in jail because she put up a My Congressman is Nuts website. Now, how that's helping the people back here when there's so much suffering in this nation, I do know for a fact he doesn't believe in any of the principles and values of the founders or in Reagan, or the things that made this country successful. Trying to take over your healthcare system, I mean, the American people are smart enough to know that this Democrat healthcare plan, if you're going to put if you want to provide coverage, which is great, we all want to provide coverage for 30 million people that don't have health insurance coverage. I would love that too. I would like to have the government print everybody $1 million and we don't have to go to work. That would be nice. But the fact of the matter is, we can't afford to cover the people we're covering right now. We're bankrupting the nation, and the people are smart enough to know if we're going to give a very expensive product, health insurance, to 30 million more people that don't have any more money to afford it, that's going to bankrupt the children even more. If this argument in healthcare that this is somehow going to save money and be good for everybody is silly. If they can actually solve Medicare fraud and make the healthcare system more efficient, then the federal government needs to do that first. I mean, that's just common sense. Show me that you can make it an efficient program. Then once you've taken away $100 billion of annual fraud in the system every year, then fine. If you want to take that $100 billion you just saved us that is going to a bunch of criminals right now and give it to expand healthcare coverage, that is a great system. But these guys, they're the worst money managers in human history. Those 535 people, if you think about the trillions of dollars being wasted, they won't secure the borders, they have no energy program, the tax thing's a mess, earmarks. I mean, every time you pick up the newspaper, it's millions of dollars going to fraud, or a farm subsidy program going to somebody who doesn't even do any farming. These people should have so much less power than they do to keep destroying the country. And Grayson believes the opposite. He goes, nope, give us more power, more control over your lives. Let us do some central economic planning, and I'll destroy the private sector in the process.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you.
For more information or to get involved in Todd Long's campaign for Congress, visit toddlongforcongress.com. Coming up next on the Orlando Business Report, more small business discussion. You're listening to the Orlando Business Report on News Talk 660 WORL.